morning, everybody. Today, we're going to be learning about Nina Cuthbert Jackson and Carolyn Jackson Miller.
Welcome to my cemetery.
What?
Well, it feels like my cemetery because so many of my relatives are buried here. I'm Carolyn Jackson Miller.
And I'm her mother, Nina Cuthbert Jackson. We are here today to celebrate the 100th anniversary of women in the United States getting the right to vote.
To be honest, we do feel a bit smug. California women didn't have to wait until 1920. We got the right to vote in 1911. We're actually celebrating our 108th anniversary.
But before we tell you that story, let us introduce ourselves.
We are buried near the Cuthbert grave.
Those are my parents, William and Chloe, and my sister, Georgiana. My father was a physician and the city's first health officer.
He put himself through medical school giving music lessons. He thought a family band would be a wonderful way to keep boisterous children entertained.
The Cuthbert Family Band. I played an alto horn, and we all wore gray and gold uniforms. We would play at church functions, political rallies, just all over.
The band broke up when you all got older. You later enrolled in the Woodbury Business College, and then graduated from Ludlam School of Oratory and the Arts in Los Angeles.
I used my oratorical training to give dramatic readings.
Our cousins, the Bushes, are buried near the Cuthbert grave. Stephen, Mary Ann, and their daughter Grace. They came here 5 years before the rest of us. Grace was the city's first school teacher.
They persuaded father that the mild climate might improve Georgiana's health.
It worked. She lived to be 78.
You and I are buried over there, along with your father and the rest of the Jacksons.
Father came here to Long Beach in 1897. He owned his own drugstore.
It was modern. It had the town's first soda fountain.
Oh, he courted you and was smitten.
We were married in 1901, and you were born in 1905.
Oh, you and Father were my role models. I attended UCLA and supported the Alumni Association my entire life.
Oh, and you loved teaching. And even after you retired, you'd go to schools in your old-fashioned bathing suit and teach the children about the city's history. Oh, they loved you.
You and Father were progressive Republicans. I became a progressive Democrat when I met my husband, Rudy, who is buried near me. He was an organizer for the United Auto Workers.
And after Rudy died, you ran into your old high school boyfriend, John Dayton.
It wasn't young love when we met. We were in our 80s. We were in Paris when I died. Such a romantic end to my story.
Now, let's move on. These people are here to hear how Long Beach women won the right to vote.
Right. Yay! Women had been demanding equality practically since the country was founded. We began organizing in Seneca Falls in 1848. In California, women's suffrage didn't make it onto the ballot until 1896. It wasn't a popular idea with everyone.
And you do know what it was about, don't you? People were worried if women could vote, they'd make alcohol illegal. The word prohibition struck fear into the hearts of those who like to drink.
And in the wallets of those who sold the alcohol. The measure passed in Southern California, but in Northern California the fear tactics worked. They had a larger population and had outnumbered us.
After the loss, Dr. Anna Howard Shaw, representing a national suffrage group, spoke at a local rally. She told us to hold your clubs together by work not immediately pertaining to suffrage. Make your clubs improvement clubs in every sense of the word.
What did she mean?
To stay strong and to not to be discouraged. And to stop talking about prohibition because the opposition was using it against us.
So win them over with good work.
Exactly. That's why we formed the Long Beach E-Bell Club. It was the city's first women's club.
You were its first secretaries. Didn't they do something with the parks?
Oh yes, we demanded that the city create a commission to make sure the parks were well maintained.
You checked up on them.
Employees knew the park should be in good order when E-Bell members came to inspect them.
You were also a member of the Women's Christian Temperance Union. I remember the WCTU supported women's suffrage and prohibition.
Fortunately, Long Beach had been an alcohol-free zone since its founding, so the word prohibition didn't inflame emotions like it did other places.
The meeting of the Southern California chapter was held here. You spoke on behalf of its physical culture department.
And I shared an alarming statistic. 36,609 patent medicines used in the U.S. were more than 50% alcohol or opium. I stated this was a danger to children and adults, but I didn't even hint that I would be in favor of taking away their cocktails.
You scared them enough with the opium. Dr. Ella Whipple-Marsh spoke in support of women's suffrage, and she said, "To all who heard her must persuade all women that they want the right to vote, and all men to let them."
And she was right. We needed to work together. And by 1911, we were ready to mount another fight for the right to vote.
And it was a fight. Some Christian leaders thought that if women had the right to vote, the very fabric of family would be torn apart. Even the Los Angeles Times opposed women's suffrage, and they used their loud megaphone to tell all readers to vote no.
And it was even a contentious issue among women's clubs. A few months before the men went to the polls to vote on suffrage, a convention was held at the Virginia Hotel, the State Federation of Women's Clubs. There, in that opulent room in that elegant hotel, no one was dancing or making small talk. We were arguing about our right to have a say, the right to vote.
I remember you coming home so angry that night that you could barely speak. And for you, that was saying something.
I was livid. Up and down the state, chapters debated the question. Some hadn't reached a conclusion, others were fully in favor. Suffrage supporters flooded into Long Beach from all over Southern California. At the convention, the anti-suffrage contingent roamed the halls, lobbying us at breakfast and as we moved from one meeting to another. At one point, they were so determined to stop us, they stormed the stage, demanding there be no endorsement for women's suffrage.
I remember you being just inches away from Mrs. Lippincott, wagging your finger in her face, telling her how she was backwards and wrong-headed about her views on suffrage.
Finally, a vote was called. After days of ugly debates, a resolution in favor of women's suffrage passed.
But you still had to get the men to vote for it.
So we formed a new group, the Political Equality League. Cora Morgan, whose grave is just over there, was one of its leaders, and Fanny Bixby was president.
You went to all the neighborhood meetings, urging all men to vote yes for women.
We told women to convince the men that we would use our votes to make the city a better place to live.
And it worked. In October 1911, every precinct in Long Beach voted to give women the right to vote. We were the only city in the state to do that. And enough men voted yes to outnumber all the no's.
Our 1911 victory was sweet. And by 1920, before women won the vote in the rest of the country, prohibitionists had managed to ban alcohol everywhere. No one could legally drink until 1933.
Fortunately, prohibition only lasted 13 years. I admit to indulging here and there. It wouldn't be Christmas without my peppermint schnapps.
We hope our story inspires you to take your right to vote seriously. We fought hard to get it, so please use it. And if you are not yet registered, you can do so today, right over there.
Thank you for supporting the Historical Society of Long Beach, the place where history lives. Now, go register.